Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. You can hear me? My name is Jacques Alfonso, and I currently serve as the co-chair of the St. Bernard Chamber of Commerce Political Forums Committee with Lisa Bowen-Cott. I'd like to thank all of you for coming out tonight to learn more about the candidates seeking office. Before we begin, we'd like to extend a thank you to St. Bernard Parish Government, Roxanne Adams, Clerk of Council, Rachel Segura and Leo Murphy of the Parish Government Department of Film and Television, and Randy Russo from WDSU for their assistance with today's event. I'd also like to take this time to recognize the St. Bernard Chamber's 2022 annual sponsors. Without their support, events like this would not be possible. At the parish pillar level, we have Chalmette Refining, the Port of New Orleans, the St. Bernard Economic Development Foundation, St. Bernard Parish Government, and Valero. At the commerce partner level, we have Associated Terminals in the Ranch. At the business advocate level, we have Clements Insurance, Complete Logistical Services, Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, and the Silver Slipper Casino. And at the chamber supporter level, we have Amanda Miller Realty, Atmos Energy, Domino Sugar, EMR Metal Recycling, the Frederick J. Segura Investment Company, Ordez Electric, Rain CII, Richie Lewis, Counsel at Large West, SSE Steel Fabrication, and Tim Duty. Thank you for your investment in the chamber. I'd now like to introduce Timothy Duty, the 2022 chairman of the St. Bernard Chamber of Commerce.
All right, thank you, Jacques. Before we begin tonight, I'd like to make a couple of announcements. First off, can y'all hear me out there? Yes. Good. Early voting will start on October 25th and run through November the 1st. The primary election is going to take place on November the 8th. To view the ballots or find polling locations, you should visit www.sos.la.gov. That's Secretary of State's office. This is a reminder that the Chamber of Commerce does not endorse any political candidate for office. We're providing this as a service to the community. The questions used tonight, and this is important, were prepared by a committee of the St. Bernard Chamber of Commerce headed by Jacques and Lisa, as Jacques said. We'd like to thank the committee co-chairs along with committee members for their hard work in preparing for tonight. Please note that no candidate or chamber staff has had the opportunity to review the questions in advance. Jacques brought them in a sealed envelope. Candidates may not request, well, no, I'm sorry, let me back up. During the forum, the candidates may request for a question to be repeated, but you can't request for further elaboration or interpretation of the questions. Candidates should do their best to answer the questions as presented by the moderator. Questions will not be taken from the audience. Candidates should be mindful of the timekeeper, Lena and me, for right now anyway. When his time speaking has ended, please end your comments. Candidates should be respectful of their opponents and refrain from any interruptions. Additionally, the audience hopefully will be respectful of all candidates and refrain from any form of interruption. And please silence your cell phones if they aren't silenced already. I'd now like to introduce our moderator, Randy Russo. Randy is the morning anchor for WDSU's News This Morning, and for 16 years has worked to tell stories showcasing the resiliency of the people in Louisiana. She got her start in broadcast journalism as an intern at WDSU and then hit the station's airwaves as a traffic reporter in 2007, soon adding general assignment reporting to her mix of daily duties. In 2009, she became an anchor, launching the station's 4 p.m. newscast before finding her home on the morning show. As an award-winning journalist, Randy reports on a range of topics from festivals to storm recovery, education, and breaking news. Her proudest job is as mom to Jacques, Stella, and dog Huey P. Long, who all share her zest for life of love and of love in Louisiana. Please join me in welcoming our moderator for this evening, Randy Russo.
Well, good evening, everyone, and thank you guys so much for having me here and for the Chamber for putting on this wonderful event to really let us all take part in our civic duty here, learning more about the candidates and what they plan to bring to the people here of St. Bernard Parish. We're going to start by giving candidates running for Court of Appeal 4th Circuit at Large Judge 4 minutes apiece to tell us a little bit about themselves while they're running for office. And again, we're going to ask you to pay very close attention to our timekeeper, Miss Lena over there. She's going to be giving you some cues. And I'm going to apologize in advance because I might have to cut you off once 4 minutes is up. Same thing for our school board members. So we're going to head and welcome our candidates up to the podium. And you're going to go, I think, over there to the left-hand side of the seating. But the candidates here in alphabetical order: Joseph Gow, Karen Herman, and Marie Williams. So if you could take your place here at the front of the chamber.
Good evening. Should I begin? Can everybody hear me? All right. My name is Karen Herman. I am running for 4th Circuit Court of Appeal. I am currently a criminal court judge in Orleans Parish. I was elected in 2008, re-elected without opposition in 2014, and re-elected without opposition again in 2020. For the past 14 years, I've served my community as a criminal court judge with honor and dignity. I preside over the only mental health court in the parish of Orleans in criminal district court. I've been doing that for 14 years since I took the bench. I also preside over a specialty drug court for 10 years. In addition to that, prior to ascending to be a criminal court judge, I was the founding executive director of Court Watch NOLA, which is a community-driven organization dedicated to transparency and accountability in the criminal justice system. Prior to that, I was a prosecutor with the Orleans Parish District Attorney's Office. I handled violent offender strike force cases. Those were predominantly homicides and sex offenses, specifically against children. Throughout the course of my career in criminal court, I've handled thousands of cases, both as an attorney and as a judge. I'm the only elected judge that's running for this seat. This is the only seat that I've ever run in my 14 years of public service. In addition to that, I've enjoyed the opportunity to meet several elected officials and gain their endorsements, including Sheriff Jimmy Pullman, Parish President Guy McGinnis, Clerk of Court Randy Nunez, and District Attorney Perry Nicosia. In addition to that, I've also had the opportunity to meet many faith-based leaders in St. Bernard Parish as well as Plaquemines Parish and gain their support as well. It's been an honor and privilege to serve my community in criminal court, and I'm really looking forward to being able to serve my community in 4th Circuit Court of Appeal, including the St. Bernard members of the community as well as Plaquemines as well as Orleans. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. Okay. My name is Marie Williams. I'm also running for the 4th Circuit Court of Appeal at Large, which encompasses Orleans Parish, Plaquemine, and St. Bernard. We're here. I am also a former judge. However, I was appointed and over 60 other attorneys, so I was appointed doing DWI cases and basically traffic offenses, where I heard a lot of trials with officers. Not only that, I would like you to know I have been an attorney for 26 years, but I've been working in the community for 30 years. I work with children, the elderly, the homeless, and abused women. And that is something that is dear to my heart. I've also started my career doing mass tort litigation, such as the Castano tobacco litigation, breast implant, working with large firms, but I felt the need to go back to the community, and I started being the only staff attorney for the Pro Bono Project. So I'm sure most of you have heard of it, but the work that we did at the Pro Bono Project is representing indigent people, people who could not afford an attorney. And that is something that is dear to me because growing up, you know, I came up in a really rough neighborhood. I just had my parents, they only have high school diplomas. And one thing they always told us was education is the key. So I wanted to give back. I did successions, divorces. I did, successions, divorces. I did juvenile court cases. I wrote grants to help get attorneys for juvenile court. And I did just pretty much everything in civil court that you could need. And it was pleasurable. And I also did volunteer services once a month. I would go to each homeless shelter and the battered women's shelter to give free legal advice. If there was a case that we could take, we would take the case in. If I couldn't handle it, we would try to give it to another attorney. But also I would like you to know that was, not only that, I also did a lot of civil rights, fair housing, handicapped, disabled, because a lot of disabled people, believe it or not, you know, with the ramps, they're just, you know, they're evicted because they have to make accommodations for them. And that was something that I really enjoyed. I had one client who she couldn't hear nor speak, so she had to write in my hand. So those are the things that I enjoyed, helping people who could not help themselves. And I also did a lot of criminal work, but it was called a different name, but it was sort of like the Innocence Project, who people we thought were innocent. We did get people who were innocent off through DNA evidence, and some that went up to the Supreme Court. And so the important thing about this race, you need someone with experience in criminal and civil. I have both. I have also been an attorney with my now ex-husband, who also has a law firm, and we have done a lot of personal injury cases. The largest sum money that was given in one personal injury case was in Civil District Court. So I just want you to know that I come from humble beginnings. I will be a judge that will be fair, and I'm running for diversity. In 140 years, we've never had not only a woman, but we need an African American on this seat. And I am running because we all need to come together, and it's time. So I just want to say my number is 47 on the ballot. Please vote for me, Marie Williams, Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals. I'm just like you, and your kids can be just like me. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you to Karen Herman and Marie Williams, our candidates there for the 4th District Court of Appeals. We're now going to begin the question process for our school board candidates. And at this time, will the candidates running for School Board District 2 please take the stage? And anybody else who is running for school board, if you could go ahead and go to the back. If you could follow Doug over here if you're running for school board, just follow Doug to the back so you don't hear the questions that we're going to ask. And anybody from District 2 who is running? All right, we're going to move on. I just want to go ahead and name the candidates just so that way we can let you know who is running for School Board District 2. William Bill Egan, Jermaine Miller, and Henry J. Rodriguez III. All three of those candidates are running for School Board District 2. They didn't sign in this evening, so I don't think they're going to be joining us. So we're going to go ahead and move on to School Board District 3. If those candidates could please come to the front. And our candidates in alphabetical order, ERIK S. GANGI, also LE-BOWMAN, if you guys want to sit together. Now, each one of our candidates will be allowed to provide a 60-second opening statement. And again, just pay attention to Ms. Lena over here because she'll be giving you those cues. After the first round of questions, we'll give you a 60-second closing statement. And each of you will be asked a total of 2 questions. You'll be able to respond for 90 seconds to each one of those questions. And if necessary, you may request for a question to be repeated if need be. You may not, however, request further elaboration or interpretation of the question. So we're going to begin with our opening statements. If Mr. GANGI can begin for us, you have 60 seconds.
Hi, my name is ERIK GANGI. I've lived in this district pretty much all my life. I grew up in the St. Bernard Parish school system. I did most of my time in Andrew Jackson, and then I split my days at Chalmette High School between Chalmette High and the New Orleans Center for Creative Arts. My platform is pretty simple. I want to reverse a $9.1 million a year tax break that we gave to a oil company that made $1.2 billion in net profit Q2 of 2022. I want to use a lot of the money that we raise from taxing the wealthy to fund more resource officers, raise teacher pay, hire more teachers, and expand the school system in general. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Ms. LE-BOWMAN?
Hello, how is everyone today? My name is Kelly LE-BOWMAN. I'm your current school board member for District 3. I'm a Louisiana State University alumni in advanced mathematics. I currently serve on the budget committee for the school board, and I have over 3 decades of financial experience in supervising multi-million-dollar budgets and projects. I'm very active in the community, serving as a financial board for Our Lady of Prompt Succor Church, a Eucharist minister, and also the director of hospitality for our church. My husband and I both are very active in our community projects with the Knights of Columbus. And my family's passion is providing food and resources to the needs. We both received the Medal of St. Louis from the Archbishop of New Orleans, the Archdiocese of New Orleans, for our humanitarian service to the community of St. Bernard. Over the years, I've served on several boards for numerous organizations and foundations, Chamber of Commerce, Stark, as well as the parochial school board member, to mention a few.
All right, Ms. LE-BOWMAN, thank you so much. That's really cute. But Ms. LE-BOWMAN, we'll begin with you with the first question, if that's okay. For District 3, what can be done in your district to improve student achievement and also ensure everyone who graduates is college ready?
Well, currently, we have STEM, and that's what I'm pushing for in my campaign. STEM is where we want dual enrollments, and I like to see 90% of our students enroll from junior to senior class. If they enroll dual enrollments over at Nunez, they can graduate with an associate degree. And again, within the next couple of years, that's what I'm partnering with Sharon Hewitt, our senator, to push that for our community here, because if our students can graduate making $35 an hour, that helps our economy to pick up also in that area. And that's what I'm pushing for my campaign. For that.
Mr. GANGI, would you like me to repeat the question?
Yes, please.
So what can be done in your district to improve student achievement and also ensure that everyone who graduates is college ready?
So first of all, we need a lot more counselors at the schools. We have about 1 counselor per grade at the moment, and that's just not satisfactory. We have way too many kids. We have way too much demand, not enough supply of counselors. Secondly, I'd get more therapists in the schools. A lot of kids end up dropping out because we don't have any sort of mental health unit for them to really go to and get help with. Thirdly, I'd make sure that we reduced class sizes by hiring more teachers and making sure that we sustained good teachers. A lot of good teachers want to leave because they don't feel like they're compensated or treated fairly by the school system. I also agree that we should expand dual enrollment, but I think it has to come with all those other things, and we have to look at other options, not just Nunez, but, NOCA. I dual enrolled there, looking into expanding our partnerships with the arts, as well as STEM. Thank you.
All right, and to kind of expand on that, Mr. GANGI, we'll start with you for the second question. You mentioned this, more teachers are retiring and leaving the school districts, not just here locally, but really across the country, and fewer new teachers are entering the profession. So what can we do in St. Bernard Parish to recruit and also retain these educators?
Well, like I said, we can raise teacher pay and make sure that teachers feel like they're heard. We can create more public venues and opportunities for teachers to reach out to their school board members, to their community members, and get real action on their needs. I also think if we're going to be serious about these issues, we have to look at funding options, and we can't just tax normal people. We have to look at the oil company that just made $1.2 billion in profit Q2 2022, they should not be getting $9 million a year from the people of St. Bernard. Thank you.
All right, Mr. GANGI, thank you. Ms. LE-BOWMAN, again, nationwide, more teachers are retiring, fewer new ones are entering the profession. So what can St. Bernard do to recruit and retain more educators?
To follow up with what Mr. GANGI said about his taxation policies to put hundreds of people, hundreds of jobs at risk, because, he's talking about, what he was talking about was that PBF Energy has a project of $550 million renewable diesel at the current time. The school board, now we have, again, there's some taxations TIF that we sometimes approve and some that we decline. This was one of those that if we were, this one was a $550 million capital investment to retro a renewable diesel, and then it would include, it would bring in 20 new jobs, an average of an annual of $70,000 plus benefits, and economic development. The project would result in 90 new indirect jobs, a total of 110. The project also expects to support 200 new jobs, a total of 516 existing jobs in the refinery. If we did not approve on that TIF, PBF would have pulled out of here, and that would have been a huge huge crisis for St. Bernard.
Ms. LE-BOWMAN, thank you. We're going to go ahead and do our closing statements now. Each of you have 1 minute for closing. Ms. LE-BOWMAN, we'll begin with you.
So I believe this is Mr. GANGI's words on his Facebook page, that he believes with the right education, pretty much any kid can become hardworking, helpful, knowledgeable, and positive member of the society. But what's funny is that Mr. GANGI notes what he didn't mention is that on April 30th, 2020, he pleaded guilty to probation for an attack on criminal damage of Parish building over here, which is the Veterans Mural that was right behind us. He spray painted it, not once, but twice. So he pleaded guilty for that. Is that correct, Mr. GANGI?
Yes, ma'am.
So even though he paid his fine, but he has not paid his restitution, he just doesn't feel like he needs to pay that.
No, ma'am.
He doesn't match his words to what he's saying.
Ms. LE-BOWMAN, thank you very much. Mr. GANGI, you've got 60 seconds for your closing statement.
Well, I first of all find it kind of sad that my opponent would resort to personal attacks instead of sticking to the policy. Of course, she didn't want me to address the fact that, yes, well, PBF should have gotten that tax break. For that year, they didn't need $91 million for the span of 10 years, especially when they're making profit now. But to address her attacks, I feel, unfair attacks.
It's not an attack, it's just...
It's an attack, ma'am.
It's direct, it's the facts, it's public.
Ma'am is... Please stop interrupting. I am paying the fine, and at the time, 4 years ago, when I spray painted that, I was under extreme mental duress. I had written Martin Luther King quotes about funding education and not putting money into oil companies, trying to support our children. So you can look at my website and
Mr.
hear
Gangi,
more. I
thank
have
you.
to end my
Thank you.
dialogue. Thank you.
Thank you to our candidates here for School Board District 3. At this time, we're now going to hear for candidates running for District 5. The candidates running for School Board District 5, Dennis Bradley and Joe Long Sr. And I believe Mr. Dennis is the one who's going to be joining us this evening.
Yes.
You'll be able to provide a 60-second opening statement to us, sir. And then after a 60-second closing statement, you'll be asked 2 questions apiece, and you have 90 seconds to answer each question. So if you want to go ahead and begin with your opening statement, you have 60 seconds.
Okay. I'm Dennis Bradley. I've been teaching in the St. Bernard Parish school system for the last 32 years. I've taught at Araby Park Middle. I'm currently teaching at Chalmette High. And I've seen what's going on in the schools from the inside. And I do believe, and I think a lot of other people believe, it's time for some change. A lot of the current board members have been on the board for a very long time. And I don't think many of them are receptive to what's going on in the community and what's going on in the schools. I've been involved in the community in many different ways, and I've been involved in the school system in many different ways. So I'm looking forward to talking to people around the district and finding out more what we can do to make our school system better.
Thank you so much. Your first question, what can be done in your district to improve student achievement and also ensure that everyone who graduates is college ready?
Well, I think, as somebody that's been in the classroom, I mean, you look at what's going on. There's a lot of kids that are not prepared for school. You start out with the younger kids, preschool and kindergarten. Get them prepared for school and get them starting to enjoy school and enjoy going. And you have to get the parents bought into the situation too. What goes on, as I've walked around the district, for the last few weeks, and I see there's a lot of people in this parish that they don't care about the school system, and they have kids in the school system. And that's kind of scary. So I think we have to, as a community, work together to get things to change and do more for those people that need more.
And so how, as you, as a board member or future board member, be more accessible to the community as well as to those in the classroom?
Well, I think it's extremely important for school board members to be in the schools from time to time, okay? Go to events that are at the school and, be seen in the community. Be part of the community and see what's going on. Talk to people in the schools. Talk to people who have kids in the schools. Find out what's going on. Find out what the problems are. And I don't see that it's a lot of board members that we have today. They're just not part of the school system. They come to meetings and that's about it. And I think it's extremely important that people know who their school board member is and what they're trying to accomplish.
And Mr. Bradley, you have 1 minute for your closing statement.
Well, I can say this. I have been involved in the community. I've been involved in the school system. I've done things. I've coached at the park level. I've coached at the middle school level, coached at the high school level. I've volunteered my time on different committees with the school system. I've been involved in the insurance committee, the calendar committee, the discipline committee. I've been chief negotiator of this employee's contract. I've been the president of the St. Bernard Association of Educators. And I've seen different aspects of the school system that a lot of people haven't seen. And so I have a good understanding of what's going on in the school system, what's going on the school board, and what's going on with the administration. So I think I have the qualifications to be a good board member.
Mr. Dennis Bradley, candidate for School Board District 5, thank you so much for giving us your time this evening. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
So we'll now hear from the candidates running for District 7, and in alphabetical order, they are Diana DYSART and Robert Lawrason III. Again, thank you guys so much for joining us. The candidates, both of you, will be able to provide a 60-second opening statement. I'll ask both of you 2 questions, each of which you get 90 seconds to respond, and that's going to be followed by 1 minute for your closing statement. So, Ms. DYSART, we'll begin with you if you want to go ahead and give us your opening statement.
Okay, thank you. Good evening. I'm Diana DYSART, and I'm running for the re-election to School Board District 7. I'd like to thank the Chamber for having us tonight and also for your commitment to public education. I'm married to Danny DYSART, and together we're blessed to have 4 children and 10 grandchildren. I'm a lifelong resident of St. Bernard Parish and a product of the public school system. I'm a graduate of Andrew Jackson High School. I have a bachelor's degree in education from USL and a master's of education with supervision and administration from LSU. I'm proud of the St. Bernard Parish School District and the years I've spent on the board. We've worked without rest to bring our schools back 75 days after Hurricane Katrina. And we were sending them a message that St. Bernard will come back strong. We spent nearly $500 million since then restoring and rebuilding our 12 schools, and now both having the finest facilities in the state and country. We have a 96% graduation rate, and 2/3 of our students receive tops. 50% of our students
Ms. DYSART, I'm going to have to stop you right there. If you want to continue with the closing statements and add more, you can.
Thank you.
Mr. Lawrason, if you can give us your 1 minute opening statement, please.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. My name is Robert Lawrason. I've lived in Chalmette my entire life. Both of my parents are from here as well. My amazing wife, Tiffany's here tonight, as well as my 2 children, Melena and Hunter Wyatt, to support me. I'm super excited about that. I worked for the school district for 14 and a half years in the central office as the systems analyst in the data center. I resigned in 2021 to try and affect change in the school district. I currently work at Stolthaven Terminals, and I'm very interested in giving back to the community to forward not only school district efforts, but community efforts as well. I think we need to work together for a change in the district, and I believe our parents need to work with our administrators and our police department, and I feel as though that's been lacking in the school district for several years. Open lines of communication are very important to me, and I would appreciate a chance.
Mr. Lawrason, thank you. I will ask you the first question. Again, you have 90 seconds to respond, Mr. Lawrason. So the first question, what steps should the district take to improve school security?
It's a very sensitive issue in today's day and age. A lot of people jump to conclusions and want radical changes, but the truth is there's a lot of more nuances to it than that. And as I said in my opening statement, I feel like the most important thing we can do is work together. We need to bring leaders from the community into the school district. We need to have board members sit with community leaders, work on plans together. I've been very encouraged to hear that there have been a couple of programs instituted at Chalmette High for the students to deal with some of the issues they face today. I'm very encouraged by that, but I feel as though we can only continue those efforts, and we can only draw closer together. We've been very divided for very long, and it hurts me to see that. And our school district is the most important resource we have in our entire parish, and I just want everybody to have a part of it. Thank you.
Ms. DYSART, in your opinion, what steps should the district take right now to improve school security?
Okay, well, safety is, for our students and our teachers, are of utmost importance. Unfortunately, we've had some dealings at the school that is actually happening across the nation, and we can only stress positive behaviors and conflicts. We cannot control individual actions, but we do and always will have zero tolerance for those negative behaviors, and we will discipline accordingly, just as we have in the past. Chalmette High School has 6 counselors, employed 2 therapists, social workers, and we are advertising for more. We have 2 police officers at the schools, and every one of our elementary and middle schools are also locked down. In order to get in, you have to use a buzzer to get into the building, and you have to be let in by the secretary. So our elementary, middle, and high school, we try to maintain the most safety. Just recently, we implemented the Stevens Institute program where for the I'm sorry, I got sidetracked looking at y'all. In coordination with the local law enforcement, and it's for safety, prevention, response, and then recovery afterward. And we're the first district in the state who has implemented this program. Thank you.
Ms. DYSART, thank you. I'm going to ask you the second question first. And you mentioned the high school. You know, St. Bernard, of course, is growing. So what are the benefits and also the drawbacks of having one centralized high school? And in your opinion, should another high school be built? Why or why not?
Okay, thank you. We're constantly reviewing the numbers at the high school level. And I can tell you that in kindergarten through 7th grade, our numbers are smaller. We have not one high school, but we have 2 facilities. We have the 9th grade academy, which is on the side where Lacoste Elementary used to be. Then we have 10th through 12th grade on the Chalmette High side. Our average classroom size is 20 to 25 to 1 in core curriculum areas. We have 2 campuses, 3 gyms, a football field, a baseball field, girls softball field, Olympic-sized swimming pool, and any offering you can think of. We have dual enrollment, and as I said earlier, our dual enrollment program, we have over 50% of our students who are getting college credits upon graduation. We can't duplicate that at another high school. Right now, we have 2 large facilities to accommodate all of our students. 600 are in the 9th grade academy, 1,500 on the main campus, and of that number, over 350 of our students attend Nunez Community College, as I said, in dual enrollment courses. Thank you.
Ms. DYSART, thank you. Mr. Lawrason, I'll ask you the same question. What are the benefits and drawbacks of having one centralized high school, and in your opinion, should another high school be built?
Yes, ma'am, thank you. Again, it's a very complex issue because, of course, the district decided to make one central high school with federal restart money, and now, for better or worse, we're kind of stuck with it. Because you're exactly right that any kind of new facility built in St. Bernard Parish, anywhere in St. Bernard Parish, could not possibly have the same facilities that Chalmette High does. There's a lot of solutions to that involve community effort. For example, you know, the gym, the football field, the soccer field, all of the cultural arts center. There could be bus programs that deliver kids to those schools. But we aren't even able to arrive at those conversations because anytime anybody mentions anything about expansion, the door is just immediately closed. In the event that expansion seems too difficult and we need to take a focused look at Chalmette High, I think there's several things that we could do to accommodate the students in a better fashion. Yes, the building is huge. Yes, we have Lacoste, but it's severely understaffed, especially for the issues that we deal with in today's world. We don't have counselors. We don't have aides. We don't have kids that get intervention minutes because we're understaffed. And yes, there's a national teacher shortage. Yes, we don't pay a lot. There's several factors that go into that, but there's also solutions around the corner. We can bring in community leaders. We can have older kids read to younger kids. Those solutions are just flat out not explored. And again, when you work behind closed doors.
Mr. Lawrason, thank you. I'm sorry, your time is up.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
And we'll now go through your closing statements. Each of you have 1 minute. We'll begin with Ms. DYSART with your closing statement.
Thank you. In closing, I'd like to thank my family and friends for their love and support always. I'm seeking re-election for the continued intention of representing the biggest resource we have, our people, but most importantly, our children. We have made tremendous progress in our system, but will always work to build upon our past efforts to improve. And we do have a new literacy program, an intervention program that I didn't get to mention early that work with children who are having difficulties academically. I will commit to represent my district in the past with professionalism, gratitude, and cooperation. Emphasis has always been to work together in a concerted effort to improve our system. In summary, our school system provides the finest staff, facilities, and technology for our students to obtain an all-around educational experience. I have the education experience, selfless dedication, and ability to work with others, and I look forward to our mission of excellence in education. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Mr. Lawrason, your closing statement, 1 minute.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. In closing, I'd just like to thank my beautiful wife, Tiffany, again for supporting me through this. She's literally one of the only ones. I couldn't thank her enough. I decided to run for the school board because I'm trying to affect change in the school district. We have had too much of the same thing for too long, and all of the current board members just serve as a rubber stamp for the internal administration. There's no review process, there's no questions asked, there's no deep dive investigation into any of the plans presented to the board, and I feel like that's an issue. Our board meetings, our committee meetings, our chair meetings are designed for a purpose, and it's to evaluate plans, not rubber stamp them, and I feel like we need to change. Thank you.
Ms. Diana DYSART, Robert Lawrason, thank you both for joining us this evening. Our candidates here for District 7 for school board, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
At this time, we'll now have the candidates running for District 8. Those candidates, Cliff England and Millie Harris. And I believe Ms. Harris is the only one joining us this evening, and you can have a seat in the middle. Ms. Harris, we'll start off with a 60-second opening statement. I'll then ask you 2 questions. You've got 90 seconds to respond to each, and that'll be followed by 1 minute for a closing statement. So we'll open the floor to you right now. You've got 1 minute to give us your opening statement.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for being here this evening. I'm Millie Harris, and I'm running for School Board District 8. I want you to take a moment and envision in your mind the teacher who made the most impact on you. And now I want you to think about the school board member who made the most impact on you. Most of us can identify a teacher, but very few of us can identify a board member who made an impact on us. And it's not because our board members aren't important, it's because we don't see the hard work that they do. I've been an education administrator for the last 13 years. I've worked shoulder to shoulder with students, parents, and teachers. And what I will bring to this board is current, active knowledge of what is happening in schools to support students, families, and teachers. I hope that you will consider voting for me so that I can bring my talents to our board and that you can remember me in the future.
Ms. Harris, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll start with your first question. What can be done in your district to improve student achievement and also to ensure that everyone who graduates is ready for college?
So one of the things that I noticed about our LEAP scores this year is that 40% of our male students in 4th grade and 8th grade are performing below the basic level. That is very concerning to me, and that's an area that I would want to focus on. I want to ensure that our teachers have the appropriate curriculum and professional development to implement that curriculum in their classes to ensure that our boys are ready for the next grade. They do well in algebra, but then again, when they get to geometry, they're doing even worse than that. We have almost 50% of our male students in algebra not performing on grade level. When we look at our students with disabilities and our ESL students, we are 3rd behind St. Tammany and Plaquemines Parish in serving those students. Our students, parents, and teachers deserve to have the support to ensure that all students, including those with disabilities or those who are ESL, have what they need to be successful in the classroom. That means that we need to have in-depth, collaborative, professional development. If the districts closest to us are outperforming us, we need to be working with those districts to find out what are they doing to help their students succeed. We need to ensure that our parents are involved in the classroom and that we're working with community organizations like the Chamber to connect resources to students, parents, and teachers.
Ms. Harris, thank you so much. Second question, as a board member, where would you look to make budget cuts? And are there any areas that you would not consider cutting, and why?
So I think when you look at the budget, and I've had the opportunity to manage budgets for the last 13 years, one of the first things you need to do is look at where you're doing well and where are you underperforming. Wherever you're underperforming, you can't cut that budget. Those budgets have to maintain, and they most likely need to be increased. I can't tell you today where we need to cut the budget because I don't have all of the information in front of me. But what I can tell you is the process that I would use. the first thing I would do is, again, review the statistics, not just what we see as standardized test scores, because they only tell you one snapshot of what is happening in a classroom. You need to have true data of what's going on. Personnel data, how old are your teachers, how long have they been there, who's going to retire, what are you going to have to invest for recruitment and retainment of those teachers. You have to be able to know, how are your facilities doing, because facilities are very expensive. And if you're not prepared to address those concerns, you're going to be left with a hole in the future, and you have to be ready for that. So as a process, you review the data, and you have a strategic plan for where you want to go and how you want to grow. And you ensure that that budget aligns with both the needs that you have currently, as well as the goals that you have set for yourself and for your community. And you work within the community to get business support to ensure that funding levels go up and not down.
Ms. Harris, thank you. And now you've got 1 minute for your closing statement.
I've enjoyed the opportunity of working with students and parents and teachers in Jefferson Parish for the last 13 years, where I've served as executive director of JCFA. JCFA is an alternative school where we serve students who have previously dropped out or in danger of dropping out. What I can tell you about my work is that I've learned that if you want a district to be successful, you have to be able to engage parents and students in their education. It is not about what we want. It is about what they need and what we are willing to do to get them to where they need to be. It's important that we bring our schools up to the level that our students and parents deserve. And as a board member, I will work every day to do that. It is my passion to serve students and the community, and I'm hoping that you all will give me that opportunity so that I can bring my talent to St. Bernard. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Millie Harris, school board candidate for District 8. And now we'll hear from the candidates running for school board District 9, Eugene Campbell and KEISA Franklin Rodney. And you guys can sit right in the middle. Thank you both for joining us this evening. We appreciate it. Each of you will be given 60 seconds for an opening statement. I'll then ask each of you 2 questions. You've got 90 seconds to respond. We've got our timekeepers right there. And then you've got 1 minute for a closing statement. So we'll begin with Mr. Campbell.
How you doing? I'm Eugene Campbell. You guys hear me? From Louisiana with the school board. Basically, I just want to make a change. When I say make a change, is you could look. Many could be a great speaker, but it's about your actions. And like I always say, I'm done talking. You can look at the leadership that I already do. Like even going from school to I graduated from St. Bernard High. We can even go back to that. The last, but when I say the last, I actually was the first African American student of the year in St. Bernard Parish, the academic game champs. So like, I want to interact with them kids. Sometimes they have to see. Seeing is believing. So if they see me come to that school or that class, they're going to understand the difference.
Thank you so much, Mr. Campbell. Ms. Rodney, you've got 60 seconds for your opening statement.
Thank you. My name is KEISA Franklin Rodney. I'm a lifelong resident of St. Bernard Parish, Via Valley, Louisiana. I'm a St. Bernard High 1995 graduate. I also acquired a bachelor's of social work and a master's of social work from Southern University at New Orleans, but I also attended Southern University in Baton Rouge as well. I'm a mother of 5. I've been married for way over 10 years. I basically want change, but I understand with change, there needs to be a look at policy and things that work, as well as interaction with the kids in school. Like I said, I'm a mother of 5. I brought kids through the system, so I know the good, the bad, and the ugly of the system. Unfortunately, I just want to make it a brighter system and use what we have to make it progress.
Thank you both so much for those opening statements. I'll go ahead and ask your first question. The first, Ms. Rodney, you'll go first for us. And again, you've got 90 seconds to respond. What can be done in your district to improve student achievement and also make sure that everyone who graduates is ready for college?
Student achievement has to start with a school system being able to interact with the community. There should not be a separate entity. School board members should be working well within the schools, within the schools, seeing exactly what goes on, like being with those principals, knowing what they go through, knowing what the teachers need, as well as finding what resources are no longer working and acquiring new resources that need to work. St. Bernard Parish school system is an awesome school system. That's hands down. However, like every machine, it needs a tune-up every now and then. And I think at this point in time, St. Bernard Parish has time for their tune-up. It's time for us to pull the engine apart and see what parts are faulty, what parts are no longer working, and what parts can stay. So with that being said, we need to be more proactive and not reactive when it comes down to this. Every kid can graduate, and every kid can graduate on a college prep level and not a jumpstart level. So we just need to look at exactly what is the downfall and not criticize it, but try to build it up.
Thank you so much, Ms. Rodney. Mr. Campbell, we'll ask you the same question. What can be done in your district to improve student achievement and also make sure that everyone who graduates is college ready?
In my district, where I'm from, many feel hopeless. When I say hopeless, it's you don't get that same effort, meaning that's from even with the parents and anyone. Like if they take their kid out of a certain school, they cheerful. As in Willie Smith, and I'm gonna go to the source where I'm from. Them kids need hope, meaning like a high five. Like when they went to beta, it's like they was left alone. Like there was who was this school? So if they get recognized, they'll feel better as being part of the parish. It's like there's a lost art down there. And even with making them graduate, you can look, I go to certain schools, I go to certain kids and find out what they want to do. I also do a trade program during the summertime to make sure they graduate and have this opportunity. Not everyone will go to college. Some need to figure out what their path is in life. You know, even with sports, since 2012, 250 kids sent to college. So it's the blueprint. Like sometimes you have to go dig in, talk to the parents, talk to the kids, then pull them up so they can see that there is hope within their community.
Mr. Campbell, thank you so much. And we'll start with you for the second question. Mr. Campbell, how can you provide better opportunities for students in your school district?
I could provide better opportunities. I was just saying is we have to go there. Sometimes you really have to go there. Like you could look around right now. Just for my community, you don't really see too many here. For violence. You have to go dig deep in them, so you can't just talk. Sometimes I say actions speak louder than words. I'm not the best speaker, but I'm going in there and talk to these kids, talk to the parents. Like it's no matter what, you have to see. They always say it take a village to raise a child. There's no longer a village. So what I did upon myself, I became that village. Reach one, teach one. We gonna start now. Like why wait? Why wait for someone else to do it when you can do it yourself? Once they see you do it, someone else will follow. So that's where the reach one, teach one come in at. So to help the kids or even build a better foundation platform and start within us. No longer talking. From Facebook in, I'm not talking, I'm going. So when I see a problem, I will go. Then hopefully someone else will follow. It's bigger than me, it's bigger than us. They are the future. That we have to remember.
Mr. Campbell, thank you. Ms. Rodney, the same question to you. How can you provide better opportunities for students within your school district?
Better opportunities could be provided with more interaction, and that's what I'm going to always stand on. I don't think the kids in geographically the district is violent. I don't think the kids in the family and violent are hopeless. I don't think they don't know what it is they need. I think they've been left in the dark and not being able to be heard. And I think someone needs to go in the trenches and ask exactly what the parents need, what are the kids lacking, what the principals need, what the teachers need, what the community can give. Because it does take a village to raise a kid. And a village in Violet is not broken. The village in Violet just has been pushed aside a little bit. I plan to make that village more well-known and let that village interact and work like it needs to. The village doesn't need a leader. The village just needs an advocate for it.
Ms. Rodney, thank you. And I'm going to do closing statements. Both of you have 60 seconds for your closing statement. We'll begin with Mr. Campbell.
My closing statement is easy. It's reach one, teach one. Like I said, actions speak louder than words. Not the best speaker, but my actions show. You can go look and pull up the research, like it's all about the parish. And then I bring it to Violet. I'm here to make a difference, like she just said. We need to come together, which is true. We need to come together, but who gonna start? Who gonna bring it here? Like I said, I've been stopped talking. So what I did was I started doing it on my own for a long time, like a real long time, like giving back to Violet. Like if you wanna go to Global Citizen Award, I win a lot of accolades, but it's just about the kids, the youth, the future, and they are the future. So reach one, teach one is my slogan. Until someone step up, then we have to make a change.
Mr. Campbell, thank you. Ms. Rodney, your closing statement.
Thank you. Basically, I want everybody to know, if you vote for KEISA Franklin Rodney, you vote for the opportunity to have a voice and a vote. I am not speaking unless I'm spoke to by the community. I don't make decisions. I will advocate for decisions to be made. I want to make our district a district that is empowered, is allowing me to advocate for it. And yes, it does take everybody coming together. It does take those who have organizations, those who want organizations to come together and hold our district together. So basically, I'm running off a change, and I'm running off giving District 9 a vote and a voice.
Thank you. Thank both of you. Mr. Eugene Campbell, Ms. KEISA Franklin Rodney, your candidates for School Board at District 9. Thank you both for being here tonight. We'll now hear from our candidates running for District 11. They are Donald Campbell Sr. and Shelton Smith. Mr. Campbell. That's fine. Mr. Campbell, thank you so much for joining us this evening. We're going to begin with a 60-second opening statement. I'll ask you 2 questions. You'll have 90 seconds to respond, and that will be followed by a 1-minute closing statement. So let's begin with your opening statement. You have 60 seconds.
Okay. We won't be long. I've been on the school board for 32 years. I retired from teaching with 32 and a half years. And it's my love, education. I have 4 of my children are teachers in the system. I have 7 grandchildren, 13 great-grandchildren. Many of them are in the school system now, and some of my former students are their teachers today. As a matter of fact, I'm looking if I can see. Oh, yeah. One is a former
Mr. Campbell, I'm going to have to stop you right there. That was 1 minute. But we'll go ahead and start with the questions. So what can be done in your district right now to improve student achievement and make sure that everyone who graduates is ready for college? And you have 90 seconds.
Well, I'm pretty much satisfied with our district. Our kids are doing well. And really, we've got a wonderful system. Some people may not think so, but the greater majority of our community has a lot of respect for our system. That's it.
Thank you, sir, Mr. Campbell. Second question, in your opinion, is your district using technology to help educate students in the best possible manner? Why or why not?
I have to apologize because my hearing
That's fine.
is terrible.
I'll ask the question again. So, is your district using technology in the best way possible?
Yes, it is.
And why would you say so? And why do you think that?
Because of the improvement of our kids in their grades, their advancement. Many go on to college and are successful, and it's due to the wonderful teaching staff that we have. I have no complaints.
Yes, sir. And you've got 1 minute now for your closing statement. 1 minute to give your final remarks.
Well, this is our last, should I be successful, it would be my last term because the state has term limited the teachers to 3 terms. And I asked myself, why am I running? I'm at 87, but there's something inside of me that says, I can't quit. And so I love teaching. I love the system. I believe I'm so proud. When I first got on the board, it was rough. There was some pretty tough goings. But the board that I serve with now, I'm very proud. Even the opponent that I have is a very fine fellow.
Mr. Campbell, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Mr. Donald Campbell, Sr., our candidate for School Board District 11. Thank you so much for joining us. At this time, the St. Bernard Chamber and all of us would like to wish you all good luck, and that's going to wrap up our school board candidates for this evening. Again, thank you all for joining us tonight to take part in all of this. A recording of tonight's program will be available a little later on the Chamber's YouTube and Facebook page. It'll also be on loop on the St. Bernard Public Access channel if you want to be able to go and watch it again. So again, thank you all for joining us this evening. I love one too.